the U.S. Department of Agriculture approved the first lab-grown meat to be sold to the public. This makes the U.S. the second country in the entire world to allow this, which, if you ask me, is 2 countries too many. Now, this decision comes after the FDA had already approved 2 California companies, Good Meat and Upside Foods, to sell chicken created from animal cells in the U.S., marketing it safe to eat. But now that it's approved by the USDA, it can be sold commercially. It's still pretty expensive to make, so it's not coming to grocery stores overnight. But you should definitely start keeping a lookout for products labeled as cell-cultivated chicken. Alex Newman joins me now to discuss this. Thank you so much for joining us, Alex. It's great to have you back.
Great to be here. Thanks so much, Allison.
Of course. So what's your reaction to this lab-grown meat? Are you at all surprised to hear this is coming to fruition, especially knowing people like Bill Gates and Richard Branson have invested in lab-grown meat companies?
I'm not surprised at all. In fact, this should have been very obvious a long time ago. Over 10 years ago now, I wrote an article warning that the United Nations was pushing exactly this kind of thing. In fact, people can go back and read that article. It's called UN Let Them Eat Bugs. And if you look at their vision for the future of food, they want a radically transformed food system where basically small farmers, small ranchers do not exist anymore. Everything is controlled by huge corporations in bed with the government. And this lab-grown meat, these lab-grown chickens and other sources of alleged food, people need to be aware. This stuff is very dangerous. It is not nutritious like normal food is. And there's a very nefarious agenda behind this. It's not just about global warming, right? The issue is never the issue with these people. So be aware, folks. This should not have been surprising because they were talking about it a long time ago. Now it's coming to fruition, and it will be on grocery stores before most of us even realize it. You already have multiple countries around the world where they're selling, protein powder from bugs inside of various foods, and these are on the shelves right now. People need to be very aware of this because the food supply is becoming increasingly centralized and increasingly unhealthy, and I believe it's all deliberate.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And it's very scary because so many people just write this off as a crazy conspiracy. They've been so successful in brainwashing the masses into making us think that we are, these crazy far-fetched radicals, but it's true. I mean, it's happening right now. The so-called innovators behind this lab-grown technology state themselves they're able to grow this cultured fake meat so rapidly by harnessing the replicating ability of animal cancer cells. So we will be eating animal cancer cells. I mean, Alex, aside from the obvious, what risks do you think this poses to consumers of this fake lab slop they're creating?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Allison. The first and most obvious risk is that the nutrition that people take for granted coming from their food, despite what you may hear from the government and their shills, red meat is actually very, very healthy. Animal meats, animal byproducts, things that come from milk, these are actually almost essential to human existence. Yeah, you can technically, if you work really hard at it, get enough nutrients to eke out a living by eating plants. But really, a lot of the stuff that comes from our meat, the protein and many of the nutrients are absolutely essential. And so first of all, people need to realize a lot of the things that our bodies need to be able to function properly are not going to be present in these disgusting so-called meats grown in laboratories. Second of all, you pointed out the cancer aspect. We don't even know all the different chemicals, right? This stuff is not going to taste like real meat. It's not going to taste like a steak. And so what they're going to have to do is completely douse it in chemicals that will supposedly make it taste something remotely resembling food. And these chemicals are very, very dangerous. I don't think people realize the depths of depravity of some of the individuals pushing this stuff. I mean, Bill Gates has been a population control fanatic for longer than I've been alive. In fact, he comes from a population control fanatic family. His dad was on the board of Planned Parenthood. And so when you have people who are obsessed with the idea that there are too many of us promoting, I don't care if it's a medical intervention, I don't care if it's a new food source. Frankly, my default position is going to be, I don't trust it, but knowing what we already know about these lab-grown meats and things, that everybody should be very weary. Frankly, I'm going to be avoiding this like the plague.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.